Happiness, Part 5, End of Reality Checks. At the end of Part 4, I was talking about victimhood. If someone carries around a sense of victimhood as a defense against things that are coming up, I mean, some people are victims. Sense of victimhood puts people at a real disadvantage because you can't go anywhere with it. And self-pity and being around other people who share your self-pity is very powerful. Self-pity is very enjoyable. It's a characteristic of depression, but it's really something that keeps people mired in depression because it is pleasurable. They don't want to give it up, and it's very difficult to catch hold in life. So let me discuss in this part what kind of people can be happy. And it turns out that there are a lot of different kind of people that can be happy. Apprehensive people can be happy. Worriers can be happy. Nervous people can be happy. They have to design a life that will keep this from being disruptive. But because you're nervous doesn't mean you're nervous 24 hours a day. What it means is that you have to take certain precautions that will not trigger this. I took my 10-year-old niece to Los Angeles in 1986. We just took a trip, and I had to plan every move that we made in Los Angeles because I was going to be driving a rented car. And I'm a worrier. And what the motivation did was cause me to look very carefully at maps, to very carefully plan where to turn off of freeways, because I knew once I got on there, if I had to make a quick decision, I would make the wrong one. And so, as much as possible, I had to do my homework just to take a trip with a 10-year-old. Well, that's because I'm a worrier. If I hadn't been a worrier, I probably wouldn't have had as much anxiety over it, and I probably would have gotten lost a bunch of times. So, some people need to be liked. As it happens, I'm a person who has a need to be liked. I'm a loner, and so I don't need to be around people much. But when I am around people, I want them to like me. If they put out a signal that they're not going to like me, or that they don't like me, then my need is turned off by that. It's a defense. If somebody's not interested in me, I lose interest in them. But nevertheless, this is something that I have. I want these people to like me, and I will make an effort. And some people, just wouldn't care, and they wouldn't have to make the same kind of effort. But but this is a small thing in life. Jealousy, and particularly the response to rejection. I was, I think, 57 years old when I met the woman that I spent the last 12 years with. We didn't live together. We lived together for about 7 years, and about 5.5 we were married. But we were really together. We were a couple, but she lived with her children. I didn't want to live with children. Didn't even want to go with a woman that had children, but I liked her, and And over the years before, when I was, being 57, I had a lot of romances. Got rejected a lot. Got jealous some. I mean, this is the way it is. This is the way human beings are made. I remember just being devastated the first time a woman who, I didn't know much about women. I was young. And she mentioned that she had had sex with somebody else, the week before. And, I thought she was so gone on me. This tore me up. And I remember a few years later, somebody that I was sort of going with. Now, these were not relationships, with real commitment. These people I was dating, like, not like we were committed to each other. And they were free, and I was free. And I called this woman at 9, and then I called her at 10, and then I started getting, really upset, and I called her at midnight, and then at 2, and then 3. And so it was clear she was spending the night out, and it was clear to me she was spending it with some guy. And so, I told her about it. I also told her how upset I was, but, that was her right. That there was nothing wrong with that. Well, this is how human beings behave. So, if somebody feels that way, responds to rejection, not something that lasts. I mean, we're talking about something that lasted for a couple of days. On the other hand, these were not. These were romances that were maybe 3-4 months long. Something lasts 10 years, then yeah, that'll create unhappiness. But jealousy and intense response to rejection, this is normal human stuff. People have different time horizons. For me, anything that's going to happen beyond 2 weeks, I mean, it's real in the sense that I know I'm going to have to pay my mortgage payment a month from now. And, I understand that if I don't do it, what the consequences will be. But it's not real. I have the money to make my next mortgage payment. And so the only thing I'm likely to be excited about or worried about is something that's going to happen in the next week or two. I live in the next week. If I worry about something, it's likely to be something tomorrow. I have friends who worry about things that won't happen for a decade. But, you can be happy either way. Probably it would be better if you had a realistic thing. I have a friend who's a hypochondriac. Not a crazy out of his mind hypochondriac. But, we have lunch together, and then he has to leave because he has to go to physical therapy, to the orthopedist, and, he's healthier than I am. And he's always going to these doctors. But, it's not crazy. There is something, he does have a pain in his shoulder, and he does have a problem. It's just that he's more sensitive to this. But in the context of a life that's satisfying, this is fine. I have a friend who has to sleep 12 hours a day. He's worked. He's accumulated at normal, normal pay. He was a lawyer. What's the time?
9:43.
Okay. Lawyer for the state of California, worked hard, didn't enjoy his work, and accumulated $1 million and retired. I'll continue this in I guess, part 6, right? Okay.